Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. It's May 8th, 2026. We're very glad you're with us this morning. Please note this event will be recorded and will be uploaded to the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window for those online will not appear in the recording. Well, good morning, everybody. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading this group. I took it over when the prior leader landed a job. This group's been meeting since the late 1990s, which is hard to believe. We're 26 to almost probably 30 years this group's been meeting here. In 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org, a website to help those unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I launched CareerUSA.org to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon, or I have copies with me if you see me in person. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team, also known as the PIT Crew, and you'll hear more about them in just a few minutes. Our agenda this morning, I'd like to start out with success stories. Then we'll have everybody here in the room do their 30-second introductions, and then we'll go to 30-second introductions for everybody who's online this morning. We'll share job leads if we have any recruiters with us, and then we'll hear from the Interview Success Workshop, the practice interview team, and then the career tip of the week. And then we'll hear from our speaker, the main event, about the top of the hour. Well, I'd like to start the meeting off with good news. Do we have any landings to announce? Anyone? Yeah, I have one. For those of you who knew Matt Keelan, his contracted job has landed permanently. And let's see here. So he had a contact landing with Korn Ferry as an interim IT leader for one of their clients. And he's now received a written offer and he's onboarding and already has started. It looks like his contract is for 3 days a week. So he may still be able to attend from time to time. So he just wanted to let everybody know. I know he announced it yesterday because that's where I saw his landing announcement on South Lake. Anyone else? All right, we'll move on here. Okay, for everybody who's online right now, if you will, please open up your chat window uh, and give us your name, the position you're looking for. Give us your email, your LinkedIn address if you'd like, phone, the city you're watching from. Give us 2 or 3 target companies we may be able to help you with. And then if you have companies that you have connections and you can help somebody else, please let us know who those are. Put that in the chat and I will get that information out to everybody tomorrow when I send the email out. So we will put 30 seconds on the clock to get started. All right, if you're still typing, keep on typing, and we'll get your information in the chat, which everybody will get a copy of tomorrow. All right, we want to do is for everybody who's here in the room, come up, give your 30-second introductions. So if you want, come on up, grab the microphone, and we'll give everybody's 30 seconds here. Tilt that back. Yep.
Hi, everyone. My name is Todd Haney. I am in customer success and communication. I am looking for jobs in that arena. I need contacts at JobTread, Field Pulse, and even Motorola Solutions. I have contacts through the Association of Talent Development, where I'm on the board. My name is Todd Haney. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Florence Hogan, and I am a strategic research and market intelligence leader. I am looking for contacts within the insurance industry, but also within the supplier side of research as well, and also for consulting agencies. I'm kind of doing a reset this week, so I do not have any contacts for this week. Again, my name is Florence Hogan.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hey, everybody. My name is Eric Nowak. I drive bottom line results by finding the truth in the data. I'm a senior program and project manager focusing in on data and analytics and ERP. I'm looking for similar roles in consulting and industry. My name is Eric Nowak. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, y'all. My name is Tim Farrell. I'm an electrical design verification engineer. I write computer programs and hardware description languages that verify that circuit models in a computer are error-free before the big money is spent to commit them into silicon. This week I need contacts at Analog Devices. I also had interviews earlier this week with both BAE Systems and Micron. I could use extra contacts there too. I have contacts at Raytheon, and my name is Tim Farrell.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. John Hamer, Senior Technical Project Manager. I lead internal and external teams to deliver systems and solutions that optimize companies' investments in technology. My contacts I'm looking for at RTX, Boeing, and Raytheon. And I can help with contacts at Verizon, but they probably won't help. John Hamer. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Monika Chvatikova. I am in technical operations and client success. I just joined the South Lake focus group yesterday, so I do not have any specific leads that I am targeting, but I am targeting jobs in client success in general with my background in technical PM. Again, my name is Monika Chvatikova.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lori Netvig. I'm in manufacturing operations and quality assurance. I just joined the South Lake group yesterday as well, so don't really have too much to share as far as contacts with that. My name is Lori Netvig.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Amy Mosteller. I am looking for director and senior level leadership in marketing and advertising. I am looking for contacts at Epsilon, at Capital One, and JP Morgan Chase. And I have contacts at AT&T. Again, my name is Amy Mosteller.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Larry Wright. I'm actually just recently retired, but I'm actually looking at part-time work. My background is in insurance, insurance brokerages, looking for work there for, again, part-time work. And on the fun side, I'm actually looking for contacts at Bass Pro Shops because I'm a hunter and fisherman. So, again, my name's Larry Wright.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes.
No? Okay.
Good morning, Sally Benix. I'm bilingual in business and technology, and I am the human in the loop. As an IT or technical business analyst, I make sense of people, processes, and technology. Having accelerated delivery time from 2 days to 30 seconds, I translate business requirements into scalable solutions. Sally Benix, I've got a lead for a sales manager. This is going to be a road warrior for a manufacturing company selling into small boutiques at hotels and golf courses and resorts and stuff. Also looking for CPAs and business analysts. I got leads for you. Sally Benix.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Not, I just sit that right there. All right. Let's go to everybody online, if you will. Open up your little bar, status bar at the bottom, and raise your hand so that way I know to call on you, and I only call on you once or twice and not 3 or 4 times. So, William, I'll let you go first.
Good morning, everybody. My name is William McLaughlin, currently seeking a business analyst role and looking for contacts at Cinemark and Dave and Buster's. I do I know someone mentioned Epsilon earlier. Mike Belzil, who is a member of this group, has contacts there. So that'd be a good person for that person to reach out to. Another tip I have while I'm on here is that Dallas meetup that I attended last night. There's a lot of opportunity to make connections there, despite the fact that there's a lot of people there. So just a couple additional things I wanted to add while I'm on here. Again, my name's William McLaughlin. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Steve.
Good morning. My name is Steve Rowland. I'm a retired .NET developer. I have contacts at Fiserv and VA. My name is Steve Rowland.
Thank you. Gerald.
Good morning. I'm Gerald Castillo. I'm an electrical engineer. I am currently searching opportunities in the defense or tech industries as a radio frequency or as a test engineer. And I'm actually already speaking with a couple of potential employers, and look like something will develop soon. I'll keep you all updated. And I have contacts on my previous company, which is Acuver Americas. They are a test and measurement equipment, and normally they look for sales engineer, technical sales roles like that. So again, I am Gerald Castillo.
Great. Thank you very much. Sheldon.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Sheldon Weinstein. Every food and beverage brand has a story to tell, and my job is helping to get that told on the shelf with retailers. I built that expertise across companies like Nestle, Starbucks, and Campbell Soup, as well as private equity and family-owned businesses, leading customer sales teams that drive real growth. And I'm exploring a director to VP level roles in food and beverage companies in that $200 million to $2 billion range. Again, Sheldon Weinstein.
Thank you. Rachel.
Good morning. My name is Rachel Barish. I'm here in New Jersey, but I want to join all kinds of groups. I'm a job coach or career coach looking for a job at a career center at a college here in New Jersey or any other organization that might use career coaches. Could be a national one. I've been seeing a lot of ads for like 1099 type jobs, but I'm also here to help. I help run a group here in New Jersey called Job Seekers in Montclair that meets Wednesday nights. Again, Rachel Barish, I'm here to help too. Bye. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Kurt.
Yes, I'm Kurt Schaffenberg, designer, developer, and analyst, and rock and roll refugee. And I'm getting my feet wet and trying to figure out what I want to do in my next evolution. Hey, Steve, buddy of mine, Pete, worked at Fiserv for about 15 or 20 years from the 90s to the early 2000s. That was playing rock and roll with me back in Felix and Black Hawk and Wildfire and a few other bands from the 1970s to the 1980s. So what comes around goes around, eh? My name's Kurt Schaffenberg.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Alyssa.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. My name is Valisa Madden. I am an internal audit manager, director, or SOX director, business process director. I'm looking for roles in companies this week like McKesson, Ferguson, McLean. I have a whole bunch of others that I put in the chat. I have contacts at AT&T, Deloitte, Grant Thornton. Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to connect and introduce you to people in my network. Again, my name is Valisa Madden.
Thank you. Tracy.
Good morning. My name is Tracy Harris. I'm a senior search consultant with Thomas Edwards Group. You've probably seen us in other networking groups if you've attended those, but we are a boutique staffing firm focused in accounting, finance, HR, and IT, local to the DFW area. We've got a couple roles in Austin and in Houston, but typically they're in the DFW area. We do direct hire searches as well as contract and contract to hire. My name is Tracy Harris.
Thank you. Bill.
My name is Bill Allen. I'm an executive sales specialist. I work with manufacturers and distribution. I am looking for sales opportunities in either a manufacturer's rep role or for a distributor. I can help with people who are looking at KPS Global. I heard somebody was a quality control person at the meeting. Reach out to me. I know of a role there. Again, my name is Bill Allen, executive sales specialist.
Great. Thank you. Julius.
Hi, my name's Julius Holly. I have spent the majority of my time in mortgages. Last position being a director of marketing and sales for a company located in Addison, Texas. Looking to actually potentially change industries, which I know is not going to be a lateral move typically, whether title or financially. But looking to look at other positions, possibly account management, business development, sales. I've done all that in the past. Um, have some contacts with some mortgage companies. The last one I wouldn't recommend. um, and not really sure which contacts I'm looking for right now. I've sent a lot of applications out and resumes out and stuff. So just kind of feeling my way through. My name's Julius Holly.
Thank you. Rosina.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. My name is Rosina Gallman, and I am your Career Tip of the Week host, so I'll be back shortly. I'm looking for a position as a Senior Talent Acquisition Business Partner, Senior Recruiter, HR Generalist, or HR Specialist. This week, I don't need any contacts, and then I have contacts at a variety of different companies. So as we connect, feel free to let me know who you need to be introduced to. Again, my name is Rosina Gallman, Senior Talent Acquisition Business Partner, Senior Recruiter, HR Generalist, or HR Specialist. Thanks so much.
Great. Kelly.
Hi, my name is Kelly Thomas, and I am looking for a HR business partner role and within the trades organization. So anything construction, HVAC. My sweet spot is actually working with larger companies that are acquiring companies. So they're on large scale growth. And I do have a lot of various different contacts at different companies. So if we connect, I can certainly help you there. And my name is Kelly Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else online who haven't caught on yet?
Hi, it's Maggie. I'm not able to raise my hand for whatever reason. With Zoom, it's acting funny or turn my camera on, so I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Aggie Lima Kowalczyk, and I'm a senior product manager with experience across CPG, retail, e-commerce, grocery, and food and beverage. So I'm seeking a senior PM or director role. I'm in the Chicagoland area, so I'm looking for opportunities either here or remote. And my target industries are, again, CPG, food and beverage, grocery. Target companies for me right now are Home Chef, Greetable, and Kettle on Fire. And happy to connect with everyone and help you as best as I can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else online?
I'm also having the same issue. I'm not able to raise my hand. My name is Tina Radford. I am actually transitioning into a new lane. So I was a business manager, which basically handled a lot of operations and embedded analysts, trying to move into a financial analyst and or RevOps performance type role. So anything out there that anyone might have some contacts for. My specialty was home improvement industry, but it is a very transferable skill. And my contacts will be in the home improvement industry. If anyone has anything that they are looking for specifically, reach out to me. And again, my name is Tina Radford.
Thank you. Barry.
Yes, thank you. Barry Boland. I'm a financial executive with experience in debt capital markets, as well as operating roles as a CFO and in M&A. My target companies right now, one is Vistra, as well as Capital One. And, my network, a lot of my network's at a company called Oryx Financial. Not sure how responsive they would be, but happy to help folks out with any of my LinkedIn connections if you would care to connect. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. Anyone else online? Last chance. All right. So Tracy, tell us what's going on at Thomas Edwards Group.
Yeah, kind of the same thing, different day. A lot of contract roles that we've seen come in, especially at a higher level. So a higher level treasury role, FP&A roles. We've also got a couple that are kind of the total reward side of things. We have a lower level contract role, which is an analyst level, and then we've got a perm role, which is a director of total rewards, so benefits, compensation, that whole thing. So we've got a lot going on right now, but you can see all of our open positions on thomasedwardsgroup.com.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. I saw John on Tuesday at Frisco Connect, and he said he'd be here today, but he's not. So if you need help, the Workforce Investment Act is a way that you can get a certifications in IT training. Reach out to John, and he can help you sign up. He works with all the local workforce offices. The local workforce offices all have money to spend right now. Apparently, you can get up to $17,000 in training. We've got business cards back in the back for him if you want them. I know people are taking pictures of the screen, but there's also his business cards are back in the back. And if you want to reach out to him, he'll help you sign up with training and get you going there. All right, time to hear from the Interview Success Workshop and Walt Glass.
Good morning. Well, it's Happy Friday. I don't know about you, but I know it's Friday because I'm here at this church and it's in the morning, so it must be Friday. If I'm in the afternoon, it must be Wednesday. Can I come to the pit crew? All right, so welcome to each one of you. Glad you're here today. So my name is Walt Glass, and I love to help people with their interviewing skills. Everything we do points to the interview. The resume, the LinkedIn, the networking, all the work that we do for that all points to doing the interview. And so who gets the job? Well, we've all heard that the best qualified doesn't necessarily get the job. Well, then who does? It's the best interviewer. It's the one who can show that through the interview, you are looking at the person that will be working here. And I will work like I do in the interview. I will communicate at work like I do in the interview. So what's our mindset when we go into the interview? Please God, help me answer these questions. Okay, well, we need to get out of that mode, right? Because we need to get into the selling mode. So the workshop that I offer is called the Interview Success Workshop. You can look me up on LinkedIn under Walt Glass, and under the About section, it gives you details about how to register and sign up. In fact, you can use that QR code to send me an email to my Yahoo address, which is reserved just for the workshop. So the idea about the workshop is to create a fun learning environment, not a mock fear environment. And so what do we want to learn? We want to learn how to say who we are, what we do, and how we can help. So that's what the workshop focuses on. It's very informal. I do it online on Zoom. I do it on Tuesdays, 9 to 11. I won't be doing it next week, but get on the wait list. It's not very long right now, but get on the wait list so I can get you scheduled. You'll get a copy of your video of the interview. You interview each other. I'll give you the questions from the 12 basic categories of questions so you can say, how do we answer this category? What's the structure? What's the strategy? What are the options? So that we can look at doing that. And included in that is, how can we sell ourselves with those elements? All right. So it's not how to answer every question in the book because we're all different. But there's some good guidelines in there where you get a handout and a video that goes over the handout as well. So be glad to have you participate. So the difference between me and the pit crew, which is going to come up next, is that we are informal, we're not mock, we're learning. And so I call it learning without squirming, right? Okay. Oh my goodness. Do we fear the practice interview or register for the workshop and the pit crew? Our chairs are not for squirming. They're the best for learning, and employment will be returning. I am Walt Glass.
Thank you very much. All right. Let's see here. Let's talk about the practice interview team for a second. The Dallas Pit Crew meets right here in this room every Wednesday from 1 to 3 o'clock. If you want to sign up for an interview, just send your resume and a job description to dallaspitcrew@gmail.com. This is a great way to see and learn how to interview. They'll do 3 interviews every week. You're welcome just to come and watch somebody else being interviewed. You'll learn a lot just by watching somebody else. You'll go and say, oh man, that was great the way they said that, or I better never say that. That's not good. The nice thing about it is you have a 40-minute interview, and then you'll have 15 to 20 minutes of feedback, which you don't get when you go to the real interview. So come practice. They like to say practice early, practice often. You can do it as many times as you want. I think the record is 7 or 8 times somebody's participated in being interviewed, but you're just going to get better and better every time you do it. So for more information, just go to dallaspitcrew.com. They meet in person on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th Wednesdays of the month. On the 4th Wednesday of the month, they do it online only. That way anyone around the United States can watch an interview. All right, time for the career tip of the week. Good morning, Rosina, again.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Mother's Day weekend. All that good stuff. All right. This week's tip of the week. Bear with me for a sec. There we go. All right. So for the month of May, what I'm trying to do is introduce you guys to different toolkits that are out there that are kind of all-encompassing to help with job search. And with that said, there are several toolkits to actually introduce you to. So, give me 1 second. Last week, I introduced the AARP 51-page document off of the AARP website, and that's a fantastic one. This week, we're looking at a toolkit. It's produced by Top Interview, and I apologize, I had the printed toolkit, and unfortunately, it didn't print out the actual website link, and I still couldn't find it back on the Top Interview website, but I know it's there somewhere. So I literally what you're going to get is the toolkit and not the direct article link, and I apologize for that, but at least you'll have it. So it is called Interview Elimination from 250 to 1. So interview elimination from 250 to 1. Well, welcome to interviewing. Your objective is expertly, you want to navigate each phase and ultimately land the job. But don't be fooled. There is more to the process than meets the eye. Each step requires thoughtful preparation, and failure to plan ahead will result in your elimination. 250 job seekers will start, but only 1 will prevail. Will it be you? 250 candidates apply on average per job listing. Only 25% of applicants make it past the employer's hiring software. So you still want to apply, but then unfortunately, at this point, you might be feeling a bit nervous about the odds because they don't seem to be in your favor. But the key here is prepare, prepare, prepare. So in this toolkit, and this one is 14 pages, basically the toolkit table of contents is what I'm going to share with you today. And as you read it, you'll know, you'll see that there's much more detail under each one. But the toolkit contains topic section, how to prepare for your job interview. in 3 essential steps. First, you want to make sure you research the company thoroughly. Second, you want to practice, practice, practice for your interviews. And third, you want to prepare your own questions to ask the interviewers. Next section is what to wear to a job interview and what to avoid. Next section is understanding the different types of job interviews, such as behavioral, panel, open, group, stress, internal, case, and then structured and unstructured interviews as well. Next, you want to master the medium, meaning phone interviews operate differently versus video interviews versus in-person interviews. So next section is going to cover how to prepare for a phone interview, how to prepare for a video interview, and how to prepare for an in-person video interview, because all of them carry differences in how you prepare. Next section would be 12 common interview questions plus some sample answers. Next section is how to follow up after a job interview. And then the last section is congrats, you got a job offer. Now what? So choosing between 2 job offers, deciding to decline, or if you decide to accept. And then the last is just some recommended reading and related articles that would connect you again to other job search articles. So that is this week's career tip of the week, which is a toolkit containing all details about interview elimination from getting from 250 down to number 1. Wishing everyone a happy weekend. And again, happy Mother's Day to all of the moms out there. Take care.
Rosina, thank you very, very much. All right, today for lunch, we're going to go to Mama's Pizza, 2130 West Parker Road. It's on Parker, about a half block west from Custard. They've got a pizza buffet, pasta, salad bar, and hot cinnamon rolls, which I will be partaking of. So come join us today at Mama's Pizza. If you'd like to receive today's materials, you'll get a copy of the speaker's presentation. You get a link to the YouTube video when this video gets posted. You get a copy of the career tip of the week, excuse me, that Rosina just read, and along with the extra information that she provided. You'll also get a copy of the Zoom chat. To make sure that you receive that, please, if you're here in person, make sure you've checked your name off on the roster or fill out the little slip of paper. And if it's legible, I will get you added to the roster tomorrow. For everybody who's online, please make sure that you've included your email address in the chat. I've seen a few postings this morning that people have put out, but they don't have their email address in theirs, and there'll be no way for me to reach out to you. Last week, we had 4 people who were part of the group, but they didn't give me an email address. So you'll see Bridget, West, Kathy, and Jeremy. I have no way to reach out to you, so you didn't get anything from last week. So if you're on this list, please make sure you get your email address to me so I can get you added. All right. Time for our main event. Our speaker, PJ Dunn. He's been here many times before. Great speaker. The talk I love is when he talks about strength finders, how to use the strength finders, and how to use that with your core competencies. And he takes it to the level of how you fit into the group. That it's, how to look at what you do. So today, PJ's with us to talk about stress live more while on the job search track. So PJ, let me give you the microphone and yep.
Maybe do it this way. All right. Well, now that we got some of that out of the way, let's just make sure this is going to move. Get these little bearings out of the way, and then we're ready to go. Got some messages showing up here. You're not able to move. There we go. Well, thank you for coming today. What I'd like to do is start off with how I like to start off, which is I like to start with the truth. And the truth is, everybody sitting in this room right here, right now, is an asset. An asset. But here's the challenge. When an asset cannot articulate why it's an asset, you naturally become a liability. All right? The company's not the asset. They're the target. They're looking for people to fill the team of assets. As a CEO, I look for a team that has strengths, and everybody's strengths covers the person to their left. People can have weaknesses, that's fine, but a team shouldn't. A team should be a mixture of strengths altogether. And because they work together, they cover each other, and they're not in competition with one another, they become cohesive. And then when they build together and destroy the problems that pop up in a company, they feel even better. And when you have a leader who understands when to get out of the way and let people do what they do best, you'll get the best from people. But today, we're going to talk about how we can stress less, live more while on this job search track. How many people have been out for at least a month? 6 months, keep your hand up. 12 months, keep your hand up. 18 months or more, keep your hands up. No. So, real quick, I'd love to ask you, what's that like? Going back, sending emails, people not calling you back, right? What's that like, Todd? Yeah.
It's living in ambiguity constantly.
Thank you. And in the back, there was one more person. Usually it's just one. We have two here.
I enjoy beating my head against the wall.
I love it. A sense of humor. I love that. That's where that should go. Well, what I do is I'm a behavioral strategist that's master certified in strengths-based psychology, which basically just means this. I believe everybody in this room has strengths and talents. Some of you know how well to work your strengths and talents. Some of you are still figuring it out, and that's okay. And some of you are like, what? I have strengths and talents? Yes, you absolutely do. And we'll talk about that. But because of that, I would also say that you are also someone who is God's workmanship. I'm not going to leave the theological out. You can hate me later if you don't believe in God. That's fine. I don't care. But the truth is, God doesn't make junk. Never has, never will. If he's purposeful enough to build a universe, what do you think he did with you? Right? He doesn't build junk. Adam and Eve weren't supposed to be sullied by sin. They weren't supposed to be. They rebelled, right? And so this happens. So what's the deal there? The deal is, if you have all this strengths and God-given talent, and if you know how to articulate it, then why aren't you finding a job just yet? Well, can I say it for you? They're the idiots. They don't get it. They don't get what would happen if you're working at full tilt on a team that also works at full tilt, that also knows their strengths. They don't get that they're the ones blocking and keeping themselves from getting that last piece of the puzzle. This is what I've seen. I've talked to some of my recruiter friends, and they get it down well. They told me, PJ, there's 3 things. We're really looking for 3 things. Everything else, is going to show up on everybody's resume, basically. 3 things. Competence. Can I figure things out? Confidence. Can I move based off of the things I can figure out? And intrinsic motivation. You shouldn't need the boss to get you excited about coming to work and tell you what to do. You should come into work ready, saying, so what are we attacking today, boss? What's the project? What's the program today? Those 3 things. Now, take those 3 things and add your strengths. If you've taken the Clifton strengths, right? You'll know. If not, you can get online, Google the Gallup group, and it'll tell you how to get there and take the assessment. The main thing is if you don't know who you are and what it is you bring to the table, how can you become better? You need to know, or else you'll be flayed by everybody else's opinion of what they think you are. But if they're not a behavioral scientist, they won't get it right, right? They'll mess up every time. But I'm here to tell you, you can. So let's do this. Let's see what you guys will do. I want to keep this interactive. I will fall asleep too if I get up here and lecture. I do not like to lecture. So I want it to be a conversation as well. And so I want to see if you can finish this sentence. Looking for a job while getting non-positive results is what? Motivation to work harder. What else?
Extremely frustrating.
Thank you. Yes. What else? Definition of insanity. I love it. What else?
I would just say unfair.
Yeah, there's a piece of that. What else? Looking for a job while getting 0 positive results is yeah, that one's hot, Mike. That one's pretty hot. Anybody else have something else? Another take. Looking for a job while getting 0 positive results is what?
Demoralizing.
And then we have that online. Yes, thank you.
It
Yes.
brings challenges to find new ways to search.
Yeah. Now let that roll around in your head for a minute for 1 month, 5 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. I think that does to a person. Yeah. Creates fear, financial fear. What else? Despair. Yeah. What else? Maybe I'm just not good enough. Yeah. You turn the gun at yourself, even though you know they don't seem to understand how to read your resume and see how great you are. And you end up saying to yourself, maybe there's smarter people than me, younger people from me, people from the right genders than me, people who are native speakers than me. And you start to spiral. Science tells us this, that it's about an 18-week window when even the most positive person starts to pivot and go the other direction. 18 weeks. So even your positivity can't save you after 18 weeks. At some point, you're going to have to look at the facts, and whatever facts you drop in your head is what you're going to believe. So let's look at this last section. And then, of course, we're going to pull this apart. I'm going to give you a bunch today in terms of what you can do every day to keep that mind solid alongside with your prayer. And I want you to reframe some things with me today, and then I'm going to show you some practicals. So this question here, what factor or factors may be in play here? If you're not getting the job and the results are negative, what factors do you think are happening? What do y'all think? Right here, yes.
So earlier I mentioned that it's informative. I think it might be just insightful about my approach.
Yeah.
It might be insightful about how I present myself, who I'm targeting, the volume I'm targeting, if I have clarity about myself so that others can be clear about what I want.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. What else? What other factors do we think are at play right now?
I'll say focus. There's so many fun things to distract me from doing what I know I need to do.
Thank you for that transparency. Yeah. What else? What else do you think may be a factor that's happening here that we're seeing? We'll go here and then we'll go here.
Sometimes I think the labor market is just not favorable enough.
That's a good point. I like hearing that. One more up here in the front and we'll dive in.
I would say determination, because this has really brought me more determined to seek and what can I do to improve.
Yeah.
So maybe later I'll end up going crazy and end up down the spiral. But right now, I think I'm over that and I'm like determined what can I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
No,
hope I
love it.
stay there.
Yeah, I love it.
I just want to share for me, recently it's been really falling more on my faith, especially when it gets really, really rough. I think we all have life around us that happens to us. And for me, it's just been like a back-to-back whiplash. It's not just the job, but the loss of my father and many other things. So
100%.
falling on my faith has been just so incredibly helpful. excuse me, helpful.
Love it. Now, what I want you to be conscious of and understand this today, whatever you repeat over and over in your mind, that's how you're going to behave. So if you're somebody in the room right now that's really negative, well, see, they won't do it because I'm this old and I'm black or I'm white or I'm a woman or I'm whatever you repeat in your head is what you're going to live out. That's what I can tell you from neuroscience, from psychology. We don't live up to what we want to be. We live what we repeat and what we rehearse. Right. So I get people all the time that'll tell me that, well, it's because I'm this and it's because, you know what? Sometimes it is. Right. But there are still people who look like you that are still in the workforce. Somehow they figured it out. They got there. Right. So what I wouldn't want to do is I wouldn't want to anchor on something that's could be very well true. But if you let that define you, guess what? You are the asset. And when the asset cannot articulate what it is that it brings to the table, you become a liability. I can tell you right now, I have a few people, they're beaten down so bad. They're just like, yeah, it's because of this, PJ. I'm not a native speaker. I wasn't born here. They're just doing it because, and everyone has a box, right? So I want to say as a strong encouragement to you, I don't care about that. You know why? Because God doesn't build junk. And everybody in this room has strengths. So use your strengths now. If you see that there's a gap and you're not quite getting over it, well, what are your strengths? One of the best things that the enemy does is make you feel like there is no such thing as God, meaning there's no such idea of you having abilities, strengths, because your strengths come from who? God. So if he can make you think there's no God, then you can think that there's no strengths. You see how it follows? And next thing you know, what are you telling yourself every day? Every time you don't get a call back, every time you don't hear something, you assume the negative. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to beat all of that. I want to today. And in fact, I want your hardest question. Online, same thing. Give me your hardest question. Please show me something that is absolutely not true about what humans can do when they're connected. Understand who they are and understand whose they are. I'd love to have that debate. So let's go. Let's get into this. So here it is. Here's a question. Here's actually a good quotable. Anybody who knows me knows I love quotes. And this is from Donna Norris. And she's an associate professor of sociology at the University of Wisconsin. She said, when people imagine job search depression, they often attribute it to financial instability and frequent rejection. But as it turns out, identity is a much bigger piece of the puzzle than people had previously thought. Again, you're not what you want to be. You are what you rehearse. And if you keep telling yourself, see, it figures, that happened, this happened, that happened, as if you don't have strengths, as if you haven't never won before, you know you've won before. You've had people say, good job before. Everyone in this room has had that moment where your hair stood up on the back of your neck because you were doing something that completely energized you. So if there's things that draw your energy away, can we not be good seekers of finding the things that actually brings energy to you? And you know what that was because someone said, you know what, you're really good at that. I really appreciate how you did that, Todd. You spoke through that correctly. I liked how you didn't pause, and ahs. How did you get there? How did you get so smooth with your vernacular? Right? Everybody in this room, you've heard an affirmation for something that you've done well. Guess what? It's still true whether you're out of a job for 5 months, 12 months, 18 months, it's still true. The difference is how do we harness it, right? So we'll get to that. All right, here's that dangerous perception again. The perception that we are our work is a major reason the job search and receiving constant messages that we aren't who we think we are is so distressing. First of all, the job cannot be the identity. You know what the job really is? It's the place where you show up and use your strengths to help contribute to a team that's on our project trying to get the ultimate performance to win the goal, the day, the objection. That's what a job is. It's a place where you get to show that you have the strengths. It's not supposed to be your identity itself. And for those who have been out of work for the longest looking, you can get beat up pretty bad on this one, right? That's internalization. But don't worry. Keep hanging in there. We're gonna show you how to make this work. Did you realize that you are, since we brought up identities, that you're not just one identity? This is something I do with my clients when I coach them individually. We go through this wheel of life spoke here. So what you see is you're a career person. That's one of the identities. Family is one of your identities, where whatever part you are, the older brother, the little brother, the older sister, the younger sister. Health. Your doctor has a profile on what your health identity is, right? Because you show up in a certain way when you see the doctor. You have the financial identity. You're either someone who's staying ahead of the bills, way behind the bills, or don't have to worry about the bills at all. That's an identity. Spiritual, we know this. The people that are spiritual in the room, they understand this isn't just about me. There's something way bigger going on than just me here. Those who don't believe, they have a different frame of work of what they're going to look at to try to understand what's happening, right? Spouse, you have an identity with your spouse or someone that you're in a close relationship with, even if you're not married yet. You have a relationship in terms of hobbies. Some of you get on, get in a little tight clothes and put the little helmet thing on and you ride bikes and like a whole bunch of like 15, 20 of you, right? Going down the road. That's an identity, right? That you have with them. Social and friends, they know you to be the person who's always late whenever we go somewhere. So they try to tell you an hour before so you get there on time. Or some of us are always the first person who's always there, right? All of these are identities. You're not just one identity, you're several, all wrapped up into one. And so what we would do is we'd go through this and say on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best, where would you plot yourself in these different identities at one point in time? The data doesn't lie. You have to understand where you are to then understand what you're going to need to do, to then know that you're going to need to use your strengths and prayer to dig out of it. You're not going to have to do some weird, wildly thing to get out of the situation you're in. The data's there. Let's look at it. Let's see what it'll tell us, right? Self-reflection that changes trajectory. This is what we might want to ask ourselves, especially if you find yourself right now in kind of a negative moment. And again, we all get there. Everybody doubts. John the Baptist doubted, even though he said to Jesus when he was in the womb, he kicked for joy, knowing that this was the Messiah. But even John the Baptist doubted later. So if he could do that after he baptized Jesus and have doubt, what do you think is going to happen with you? So here are the questions you want to ask yourself. These are interrogative. You need to be self-interrogative. You don't need anyone else's negativity. You be the internal lawyer for yourself. So what is within my control? You know how many people try to control things they can't control, right? You know what that does? You know what that produces almost 100 times out of 100 times? What do you think? Yeah. Bam. Anxiety. Our current, if we look at the number of people who are in the job search now, and we look at the people who have jobs, and then those who are going to get a great job, anxiety is always still present. You know what comes after anxiety? Yes, overwhelm, then depression. So now imagine you can be in an anxious state looking for a job while having a job, and then maybe being even promised a job. You can still be anxious. Now, is anxiousness the worst thing in the world? No, it's actually not. It's kind of like the light that goes on to tell you in your car that you need more oil. Anxiousness is an indicator to let you know something is off. Anxiousness that's lived in every day becomes overwhelm. Overwhelm every day becomes depression. Small d, and then eventually big D depression if you don't have anything to counter it. And I wouldn't want that for anyone here, right? What are your strengths and weaknesses? See, now I need to know what my strengths are, because if I don't know what my strengths are, how am I going to pull out of a situation? How can I tell the interviewer what it is that I bring to the table? How can I explain that I'm an asset if I don't even know what I'm great at? Right? And I didn't say good. I said what you're great at. It's not a slip. Because again, I told you up top, everybody in here is great at something. But do you know how to use it? Do you know how to marshal it? Right? Do you know how to put a governor on it if it's too much? Do you know how to set it free if it's what the company's needing at the moment? Right? If you had a job before this one, can you get another one? See the question? We're going to beat anxiety down, because I'm going to ask questions that empower. Who do you need to become to go where you want to go? Tom Brady just doesn't become Tom Brady just overnight. Wayne Gretzky does not become Wayne Gretzky overnight. The Serena sisters, the Williams sisters do not become great overnight. They practice, practice, practice based off the things that they already know, that they have skills in, that they have a strength in, and they continue to go until they get to the top. All right. And you can add way more people in other industries that do the same thing. Why do they get to do that? No one else. Huh? They don't get there because they let themselves get into anxiety, then let that flood into overwhelm, which then leads into some sort of depression. Usually it's about 4 weeks in, after hearing no, 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 that you'll see people starting to get up later. Then after a while, it's not about getting up later. It's for the guys, we stop shaving. Maybe the women stop putting on makeup because you know, and I'm not going out of the house today. I don't have anything. Nobody's trying to interview me right now. I don't have a right. And slowly, surely, what you'll see is you'll stop doing the things that you used to do. And I would suggest, nope, you need to be hard-headed on this one. Get up anyway. Whether you're going to see people or not, get up anyway. Still do your same grooming routine. If there's a walking part of it, go do it. If there's a prayer part of it, meditation, go do it. You actually want to double down because if this is something that you can keep going, then by the time you get a job, you don't have to go and restart that and prime that pump again because guess what? You've always been practicing it, right? Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes progress. That's the difference. And you've heard it the other way around. No, it doesn't make perfect. It makes progress, right? So job search, you know this already. It's actually a job, right? So you want to set some strict working hours. You want to think about that in terms of, hey, I'm going to get up every day from 9 to 5. If anyone goes, hey, I'm going to get up and I'm going to work from 12 to 12, I'm going to work 12 hours a day. Let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to burn out. Then you're going to have a hard time convincing yourself to get up and do that again the next day. Now you stop shaving. Now you stop putting on makeup. Now you stop. Why? Because you don't want to do it again. Your brain's going, we did this yesterday. It was not fun. We're going to wake up and do another 12 hours again of job search. No. Set your working hours. It could be even 9 to 5. Before 9, we don't work. And after 5, we don't work. Unless you're going to a networking event that you know you have planned in, but also make sure that the next day, put another hour or two of rest back in. Please do that. I don't want to see anybody in here burn out because burnout people cannot show you what they're great at, right? They can't. You know what burnout people are thinking about? How to survive. What do you need to be doing on an interview? How I thrive and how I can help y'all thrive if you hire me. That's it. That's the position. It's not going to have to be complicated in any way. Create some simple rules and guidelines. If I take a day off today because I don't feel like doing this, where am I going to put that time back in the rest of the week? You got to put the time in. You still got to do the work. The difference is you got to notice where you're at. And if you're telling yourself, if you're forcing yourself to do something and you don't like it and you keep doing it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to quit doing whatever that thing is. We don't like to do things we don't like to do. But if we can tell ourselves, no, this is necessary for me to go from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 to step 4. See it as a stair step. No one jumps to the top of the staircase in one bound. So why would you expect that of yourself? No, it's literally one step, then the next step, and then the next step. That's all it is, right? So be prepared to be challenged on any rule or deadline that you have because something's going to happen. Life's going to happen. Somebody's going to get married. Somebody's going to graduate from school. Somebody's going to die. And all these things are going to pull you away, right? But if you don't have an understanding of what your deadlines are, your personal deadlines to stay on this, you'll let you carry you out into sea. And that's not what we want because if we stick to it, we'll see a big payoff. You want to resist the urge to quit when and if you fall off the wagon. So if you tell yourself, well, this week, I'm going to make sure I get up every morning at 8 o'clock and I'm going to do bang, 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 bang. And then if something happens and it throws you off, don't let that send you into a spiral. Just say, okay, I expected that there would be something that would happen that would throw me off. And so we learn how to pivot. By the way, that's what's going to happen to you at the company. As soon as they hire you, there's going to be things that are going to happen that you're going to have to show them you know how to pivot. We can learn how to pivot now because we do not know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? There's people who did not wake up today. I say that for the folks in the room. We're like, well, nothing's going right for me, and this is happening, and the recruiters this, and no, stop. Stop. There's people that did not wake up today. There's people who are intending to get to work today that didn't make it to work today. But you're here and you get to exercise this. You get to commune with other people who are also looking. Y'all end up creating networks. I loved hearing that as I saw that up on the board that y'all are, here's how I can help, here's how I can meet you with. That's the energy you want to connect to. Don't trivialize it. It's actually really, really good. So job search, then the golden nugget bar here is telling us the job search isn't just a loss of income and identity, but it's also a loss of structure. As soon as you let that structure walk away, you will then just go wherever the wind is blowing you. And James said that's probably not the way to go. We don't want to just be blown around like the waves by the wind. Okay. So keep it strict, keep it tight. We've got something that we want to maintain, and it's because we can do this. I'm not making a big ask here. You can do this, right? So let's empower that. Now you need to be aware. The stress of a job search can also make people feel as if they don't deserve downtime, but working overtime and pushing to the point of burnout will only exacerbate the feelings of isolation and negativity. See that? So again, that person that thinks they need to work from sun up to sundown to do all these things, send all these resumes, do all this stuff. And if they tell themselves, no, I don't deserve to, stop that one quickly, right? What would you say to your children if they said, well, nothing works. I don't deserve to do this because I failed and I didn't pass it. What would you tell your kids? You wouldn't tell them, yeah, you're cooked. Go be isolated alone so you can have horrible thoughts. Go be negative to somebody because people love you sharing your negativity with them, right? You wouldn't do that. So what would you tell your kids? If you're saying that to yourself, think about who you would say that to where it would make sense. It wouldn't. So therefore, if you wouldn't tell it to your kids or your friends, don't tell that stuff to yourself, right? I want to set that mental mindset. I want you to have that steel trap mind. Anybody seen a bear trap? Have you ever seen one of those really big bear traps that they use to capture those big Kodiak bears? Here's the thing about that bear trap. I want to give you this image and I want you to keep it, right? When that bear trap gets touched, just even slightly, it goes slam. And that bear can do as strong as he is and as everything he could pull to, when it shuts, it ain't getting off. It's not going anywhere. That bear is going to now have to try to do things if it's on his legs to try to. What if your mind was like a steel bear trap? Right? When positivity comes around, you latch onto it and you won't let go. Steel trap mind. You can have that. Now, I'm not talking about false positivity. I do not like the fake positivity for the sake of being positive. I'm not saying that. That's a detached person that's not dealing with the reality. Here, we're okay with leaning into the reality because leaning into the reality will keep us grounded. Right? So it's not about, well, just forget about your problems somehow, some way. Hey, just say a prayer about it and it'll go away tomorrow. Let's don't do that. Right? Because even Jesus suffered and he was on that cross for longer than, one day before he got down, right? So think of it that way. Now, here's some daily wins because we need daily wins, right? So if you broke up the day, here's one way to look at it. You don't have to do it this way, but this is something that I've taught for a while now and people seem to like it. If you look at the day as in two parts, there's before lunch and there's after lunch, right? I would save the non-time intensive tasks before lunch because when you knock them out, guess what happens when you go to lunch? You feel like you've gotten things done today. Feels good. And then I would say, since the longer time is after lunch to the end of the day, you can go into the time intensive tasks that you might have to do. Now, here's why. Some people might say, well, wouldn't you do it this other way? No. Because if you're beaten down when you go to lunch, and if all you're thinking about is, man, I've only been working on one thing today, well, guess what you're going to do? You're going to go, I still haven't sent this email. I still haven't done this. I still haven't, and you're going to add more to it. If it's non-time intensive, knock out the little stuff first. I think Dave Ramsey says, pay the little bills down first. And then after that, you can then attack. You have more money to attack the bigger bills, but knock the little ones out first. Here, get the wins early, right? Try to get them done before lunch. Now, when you go to lunch, this is tactical. Please don't eat a bunch of high carbs because you know what's going to happen around 3:00? You're going to crash. You're going to fall asleep. So see, you even have to watch how you lunch this thing. Eat stuff at lunch that's going to energize you. So this is fiber and protein. And if you do have carbs, eat the protein first. Right? This is what dietitians, I talk to them, they're telling me this stuff, so I'm telling you now to add. So this sounds different, right? You have a behavioral science talking about nutrition. That's fun. Right? But watch what you're eating even. Because if you eat the kind of food it's going to make you want to quit at 3 o'clock, not a good plan. Right? So watch that. Now, weekly, if we look at this from a weekly perspective, I got 3 buckets for you. You could make more, but I think there are 3 that matter. Right? That would be, what's the number of emails or social media posts that you need to do this week? Come up with a number. Don't just haphazardly do it. Say it's Sunday night, you got the week coming up. Say, you know what, this week I need to put out at least 30 emails / social media prompts on LinkedIn. 30, that's my number. All right. The next one is, what's the number of face-to-face meetings I need to have this week? Is it 3? Is it 4? But have a number. And then finally, what's the number of events that I need to attend this week? 1, 2, figure out what's your tolerance. What can you do? But see, if you're contacting people through emails and social media, that's good. If you're having face-to-face, you're going to hear things that you probably wouldn't hear otherwise in an email. And then if you're out at events, you can meet new people to put into to figure 1 and figure 2 of this paradigm. Right? The more you do that, the better off you are. Your LinkedIn profile, how many people in here have at least 500 people that they're connected to? How many people have 1,000? Keep your hands up. How many people have 2,000 people that they're connected to? 3? No. Yeah. If every person is worth 100 people and he has, was it 4,000? 4,500? I think I want to spend some time going to lunch with him, asking him who he knows, because he knows a lot of people. Now, here's the thing. You can get overwhelmed looking at these numbers, but here's how I would do it strategically. Someone has 4,000. Let's just say yours. Let's go with yours. Let's say you have the 1,000. Can you really, are we saying you should scatter shoot everybody, hit all these people with these impersonal emails, 1,000? I would say no. What I would do is I'd take 30 people all out of that 1,000 and say, my goal this month is to have conversations with this 30. Then here's this other 30 that I didn't do, which now will make 60 in the next month. Bite-sized chunks. The thing is, there are people who know about jobs that you haven't talked to because you haven't talked to them in a while. That's networking. It's supposed to be that we're in front of each other so that we can be a resource for one another. So take that 1,000. For this next month, I'm going to reach out to these 30 people. For that next month, these 30 and these 30. Chunk it out, right? And see how many leads you get just from doing that, right? As a strategic, that's something I'd love to do. So hopefully that helps. So that's what you want to do. So you got the daily thing before lunch, after lunch, right? And please make sure that when you call something end of day, that's end of day, right? But if you do this all day long and you're stressed out and more people are not returning your call, I can already tell you where you're going to be. And you don't want to be there, right? Because it's avoidable. It's completely avoidable. Now, benefits of unemployment. Staying busy actually can keep you in a range where people can see you that wouldn't have seen you otherwise, even from that list that we talked about. Volunteer, right? Some of you are already doing this. If you're already good at, say, project management, volunteer to help some project at church or home or somewhere else where you know your skills would be great. 2 things, you're helping somebody else. And the second thing is you're keeping your skills current. If you keep doing that, you can take free classes online. Right now, Stanford is giving $200,000 away of free AI training. That's just Stanford. There's several schools that are doing this as well. AI is something we cannot be afraid of because it's not going to go away. It's going to be there. Just like when the internet came, people got filthy rich off the internet because they understood web domains and things like that. This is another time where that's happening. So in between, while you're waiting for the job, if money's getting tight, if they're going to give away free training on AI, which is not going away, and it's Stanford doing it, and they're going to give you a certification, what does it look like to have a certification from Stanford on AI? And again, it's not to be a genius at AI. It's just to stay in a working knowledge of it. How many people still have typewriters right now? There's one person. Everybody else, laptop. That's how we get it done. You don't want to be a typewriter in the age of a laptop, right? AI is going to change so many things. And then it's going to create a lot of situations because there's going to be people so afraid if they don't want to use it. And guess what that means? The people that are not afraid to use it are going to keep advancing while the other people aren't. Now, am I saying AI is the greatest thing in the world? No, it causes some problems too. But guess what? That's also an opportunity. People who can help people with the problems that AI could cause. You see where this is going? And who's involved and invested in AI? Some of the richest and smartest people that know how to do programming like crazy. They're already ready for the next version. It's called quantum intelligence. So this is not the time to fall way behind, especially if major universities are giving you the information and the details and the training, right? So keep that going, right? Because that can keep some ideas up. And probably some of the things you do right now, AI can help set you up where you don't need 10 people. One person that knows how to use the AI can set up all the people they need, and you can sell what it is that you do to help people. Because guess what? People are always going to want help. Yes.
From a strategic point of view, when would you suggest to take the classes? In the first half of the day or the second half of the day?
I like
to
that.
really retain the information.
So are you a morning person or are you an evening person? Some people I know, it's morning. Some people I know that are evening people, they struggle just to get up and go into the office because they're just evening people. So I would take a look at that. Some of us are ambidextrous in that way. We could do it in the morning or the evening, but just think about it. When are you clearest of mind? When are you able to access and get everything that you can get from your prefrontal cortex? Because that's what you're going to be using to learn all that. All right. But figure out your rhythm, right? So you can create classes where you teach and what you know. Now look at this. AI can show you, yeah, here's how to set up the course. You just give me the data points that you want and I can do it for you. And then you can tell people, hey, if you're struggling with this, this, and this, I can teach you. The more you teach something, the better you get at it. I've been doing this for 17 years. Do you think I'm nervous at all about talking about any of this stuff? I'm doing this for 17 years. This is what's great about the human mind. When you connect with something that you really, really love, there's no cap to where you can go. And that's why some players, musicians, whatever, go to places where other people don't, because they understand there's no cap to this. Jimi Hendrix didn't think there was a cap to guitar playing. Wayne Gretzky didn't think there was a cap to playing hockey. We know about Eleanor Roosevelt. She's like, no, I'm not afraid to get into a plane with a black pilot. Let's go. Let's do this. All right? There's no cap to how great you can be unless you want to put one there. And I would suggest not. Not at all, right? It's another reason why you want to take the Clifton Strengths. And by the way, I know I'm biased, but that doesn't mean I'm wrong. Okay? Men relationships that want to ride. This one's the weird one. This is the one that people go, why is that up there? Well, it turns out that even the people you don't like or don't like you, or maybe you had a miscommunication with, they still know where jobs are. You know what's the quickest way to get rid of something that's bothering you? Is to go and ask for forgiveness or tell the other person, hey, you know what, for my part in that, that was wrong. And the other person will be shocked. What? You called me? I mean, the last time I talked to you, I totally shut you down and I made you look stupid in the board meeting in front of, and you're calling to, yeah, I don't want to carry that. I'm sorry for my part in that and what I did. How are you though? The person's still shocked because they have such a grudge against you that you called them and that you're, right? You're bowing the knee. And then it turns out this guy knows the VP of the company you've been trying to get into and you didn't know it. Now, I'm not saying do this just because they might get you in somewhere. What I am saying is that that's one more weight that's taken off your shoulders, right? The average human being has anywhere from 35 to 80,000 thoughts a day. Most of them are negative, right? And most of them are repeats. And anything that pulls your energy off just a little bit is enough for your mind to go, see what's wrong? See what's happening? See what's wrong? See what's happening? See what's wrong? See, you aren't good. Your brother's better than you. Your sister's always better than you. Mom loves you better. Yeah. That's how you go, well, how does that have anything to do with it? Everything. Because you'll run into somebody who's like the person that you don't like that's at the job. And what are you going to do? Act the same way? But see, now you know what to do. That personality type won't shut you down. because you've already been practicing already here. Hey, I'm good at mending relationships. I needed to anyway. And usually people just don't expect it. And then now they want to do something like, well, gee, I wasn't going to buy you a Christmas present, but this is nice that you call. Right? That opens up a completely different conversation, right? Community is golden. We're made for it. We grow in it. We can get out of our own head if we dive into it. We can focus on someone else besides ourself the whole time and how I'm not getting called back, and which is all real. We never know who we might help, and we never know who ends up helping us. And that's what a network's supposed to do. I network in here with several of you already that I know. And y'all know that if you call me and I have the resource to help you out, I'll give it to you. And those people will do the same thing for me. That's the power of a true network. At different times, some of us have just different resources. And we share it. Because I've already said, I like these people that are in my network. And they've said, I like this person who's in my network. Right? So what was the Beatles? I get by a little help from my friends. Then later on, they changed the word by to something else in the later part of the song. But we'll just stick with the first part. I get by a little help from my friends. Let's get into some questions. And I want to find out some more of what maybe I can help with today, because I want to take any and every question. I don't care how hard it is or simple it is. And there are no dumb questions. There can be some inquisitive idiots, but I don't think there's dumb questions. Okay. So what do you think of this? What hit you today? What is resonating with you right now? Or what's a question, or what's some clarification that you'd like to have?
If no one else has a question, I'm not even sure this is within scope. Yeah. But I thought you said something that made me think of this.
Yes.
And if one gets a job offer, how much time can you ask for to think it over before you give them a yes or a no? I've been told 72 hours. I'd love to hear your opinion on this.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. I think each one's going to be different, because companies are at different stages of the hiring. Some need it now. Some are like, well, we're just backfilling in case later, right? So if I know that it's a super important one, that this is important to them, they're really trying to field it, I think we can get down to it in about 48 hours necessarily, because the part I don't want to do is overthink. If you're analytical, you will overthink it. And we don't want to overthink it. We probably need to think about three major important things. Am I going to be happy with this decision if I go in? If I'm happy with it, what will it do for the rest of my life? And then is this going to be something that I could see myself growing while in the process? I'd ask myself those three questions. Otherwise, you'll ask yourself 158. So do they have bathrooms on the fourth floor? Do they have a parking garage? Because it's going to get really hot and I don't want to have to walk all the way, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with it. We'll get in there. But I love that question. And I think that time frame is even getting even a little shorter, just because the world is about information flying around all the time. And so people need their attention spans are what's struggling. So the longer we wait, they may even forget that they even had the conversation. Yes, please. Thank you for that. It's a great question. Yes, ma'am.
One of the things that you talked about that I really liked was the working hours, because when I first was laid off, I was kind of networking with someone who she's actually has a high level position at a company, and she was saying that when she was going through her job search, she was working like till midnight, working very long hours, and she said it took her about 7 months. She actually did land rather quickly, but it took her 7 months, and then she was saying, and then I had another person who was like a kind of like a coach, saying that when he was out of work, he was working, like it's kind of like the same schedule on the weekends and everything, and working these really long hours. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't think I can do that. But I actually tried to do that. And it really, you get to like where you hit a wall. And I realized for myself that that strategy does not work for me personally. So I'm really happy that you've addressed that, because I think people get a lot of feedback saying that you have to work 7 hours a week. You have to get up at 8 and work till midnight. I mean, they get this from people who are quote unquote career coaches or people. And they may be hard charging, but to your point, I think like you're going to experience burnout if you're doing that. And so my thought to myself that I'm telling myself is give yourself a break. That's my message to myself. Give yourself a break and work a schedule that works for you.
Right. And see, and here's why I love this. Even if those folks can do that, it's not sustainable. Just ask their wife, their kids, and everybody else that when they've focused that heavily and that hard on something, something else has to give and something else has to go. Right. And so when we look at this, this is what I've heard. So I coach GCs, general counsels at law firms. I coach SVPs and VPs. And here's what they'll tell you without even, not even kidding. There's time to sleep when you're dead. That's what, and they're not kidding. What are they telling you? If you're lazy, don't even come in here. We don't want you. And it's so interesting what they're calling lazy. But in a world where, if you look at just the workplace just 40 years ago, nobody was working this much, like coming home with it, working on the weekends, working with it. Nobody was doing that. But now we know you got this, one of these. So now it's almost a prerequisite. Well, if you want to be VP, if you want to be top, they don't give it to the person who works less hours. They're going to give it to the person who they think is sweating and dying for the company. But here's the thing. If it's not their company, they don't care about the company like the way they do. But they're saying, well, I spent all this money for education, everything else. I'm not going to make it easier on you. If you want to be here and you want to be a higher level person, you've got to work ridiculous hours. And I'm going to set that up now. Yes. This is good. I love this.
Great stuff, PJ, this wall glass.
Yes, sir.
I found something that helped me. Maybe it will help others. I need space. I need to get away from interruptions. I need to get away from everyday things. I need to get away from my phone. I need to get away from television. I need to get away from things so that I can stop and think. And so I've got an issue with my job search. I got a problem with it. I said, okay. So I started walking. And I would walk and during that time I'd say, okay, who can I might call, or what's going, how can I solve one of my own problems, one of my issues? I don't think that sometimes we look at job search and say, it's just not fun doing this. And I don't like doing stuff that's not fun. I'd rather go empty the garbage. I'd rather do something else. So if you can find some space to get away from all those interruptions so that you can apply yourself and then say, okay, how can I make today worthwhile? What can I do particularly to do that? I mean, it helped me get focused, and it also helped me get creative. I can't be creative while I'm in the middle of writing an email or, doing something like that. And I'm a very uncreative person. I am an artist because I outlined my hand on a piece of paper one day. And so now I'm an artist. But how can you be creative? Oh, well, okay, then stop and think about that. Anyway, find your space.
100%. Please, Todd.
Thank you, PJ. Again, you were talking about using this time when you are in job search, and I'll just volunteer a little bit myself. I was a teacher for a long time, and teachers are the worst in terms of identifying themselves with their jobs. And I think men of a certain age, they can do that too. So I will just kind of volunteer this story. I needed this time to get away and sort of, for lack of a better term, find myself and figure out what my motivations were and separate myself from that role. And seeing as my wife is also a teacher, it's hard to do. But it's one of those things that as much as I'd rather be in a routine where I'm feeling more productive within context of a work environment, I will admit, without sodium pentothal, that this has been good for me to sort of redefine what my values are. I've done Strengths Finder and say, oh yeah, that makes sense. So I will say, this isn't really a question, but it has been valuable to sit back and re-identify. And to Walt's point, I think, get away from the phone, get away from the desktop, get away from the rigid routine that is job hunt, and try to just have some free time to figure out, okay, am I doing what I need to do? And I need to walk away from that and reset rather than, as Florence said, just, go from 8 to 8, knocking it all down. So thank you very much.
So, question on StrengthsFinder. We talk about the top 5, and yes, they're your strengths. That's where your natural inclination is. I was, being an analyst, I was curious, so I got all 35,
Yeah.
36. What resources or how can we look at the totality of the strengths to dive deeper into me and gain even more insight?
Yeah. So on the Gallup site itself, they produce statistics because Dr. Clifton has passed away. He's no longer with us, but his son is a data scientist. So imagine you have a behavioral scientist whose son is a data scientist, and now his dad's gone and he's taking care of his dad's business. And so Gallup Group has all the statistics on here's how people survive when they're in a group setting. Not so they're looking at all work aspects, and they're always putting out late stuff. So I would want to look at that. In terms of your strengths, the 34, what you're looking at is this. There's your top 5, which is what you're most inclined to do. There's your top 10, which is, it could be any of these at any day. Then there are the talents that are right in the middle, right? 17 through 20 something. And these are the talents that you do them sometimes, but not all the time. So for example, I had a pastor tell me, he's like, PJ, I don't understand this. I mean, to do my job, I have to be very, empathetic and stuff. I'm surprised my empathy is not in my top 5. I'm surprised my empathy is not in the top 10 even. For me, it's down here at 25, but I'm a pastor. How is that? Do you lead with empathy? That's the difference. Empathy people, you can spot them a mile away. They're in front of somebody and they're the one that's not talking because they're taking in all the data and they're empathizing with them. They don't usually interrupt. They don't, okay, stop talking so now I can talk, right? They don't do that. When you see an empathy person, that's what they do. Now, this pastor had empathy in the middle, said, but you don't lead with it. You lead with this analytical, because look what you're asking me. You're wanting me to give you more data. Or see, an empathetic person wouldn't even ask that kind of a question. So yeah, you do need empathy to be a good pastor, but it's not what you lead with, which doesn't mean you're not a good pastor if your empathy is not in the top 5. Now, that bottom segment, right? People like to look at that to see, hey, well, what am I not good at? Because again, what are we doing? We're always thinking about what could bite us in the butt if we don't know about it. And so when Clifton first did this, you could only get your 34. But the problem was everybody kept looking at their bottom 5, and then they kept wanting everybody to help them fix the bottom 5. It's like, no, you're missing the point. So he shifted it and said, no, we're going to give you your top 5. And then after you've done that, you can call in and get the rest of the results of the 29. So the point is, learn inside and out cold your top 5, your top 10, because that's where you really live. The other stuff, when you see it, it's good to go, oh, I noticed that I'm not the most harmonious person, but it showed up today. I wonder what was going on. And you'll know that this is something that you'll pull from sometimes. But the stuff that you're pulling from, people don't even know it. There's people who've taken the assessment and they go, wow, I didn't realize I'm such a strategic. You didn't? You told me everything you did today to get to this point, to be here and everything, and how you set that plan up. I can see it, but see, sometimes we just don't. So I would do that, and then I would just watch the videos. So what they're doing now in Gallup is they got the videos. They're just a minute and 30 seconds of a person that has that particular strength, and they're telling you how they're using it at work. So that might be very helpful too. That's a great question, by the way. Yes.
I wanted to say thank you. 99.99% of everything that you said really hit my heart, and amazing feedback. And I was definitely meant to come today. And I want to thank you for Monica for telling me about it. For if I'm looking for I see a lot of connecting on social media. I'm on social media, but I'm not heavy on it. What are some of the ideas of things I can do to join social media groups to get out there, other than this is and again, today was amazing.
Yeah.
And yesterday was the first one that I went to in South Lake. Are there other things like that
throughout the week, or is it just
There are.
Thursday and Friday? So I have kind of a two-part question.
Yes.
And then I kind of wanted to make a shout out to Bill Allen. I definitely want to connect, and I was looking through LinkedIn to find him, and his name is common. So Bill, if you're still on there, I would love information to connect with you. It's Lori Natvig, by the way. But if you can, sorry for the side one, but
So what are we
any
doing?
help that you can provide with that would be greatly appreciated.
In terms of
Of
what
social media, other things to do during the week for me to get my name out there, get out there, learn more, hear more amazing speeches like you've done today that's very interactive, that has so many tools that I can grow with.
Okay, love that. So again, this is, and that Bill Allen has his hand up, so we will need to address Bill. Bill, we see you. Thank you. So here's the thing. We live in the information age. It's out there. You have to ask for it, right? You have to go on Google. You have to ask. You can even ask Claude about, if I want to network in the DFW area and I want to talk to people who are in this particular industry, it'll even tell you. So we have the information that out there that way. What I would also do is I'd look for example, most of my clients are lawyers. I go to law events. I hang out, I fish where the fish are. So think of it in those terms. I know that sounds simplistic, but actually it's a really good rule of thumb. So whoever it is that you're trying to meet with, they have an association, right? We have an association for everything here in Dallas, right? There's an association of lawyers, there's an association of female lawyers, association of Asian lawyers, there's an association of doctors. There's an association for everything. Find out if you put in a Google search for, hey, where do the people who do X hang out at in terms of the association? Remember, the association's job is to do several things. One, connect the community that's already doing the same things, but it's also trying to be a resource. They're trying to be a resource to people who do what they do. I think a really good cheat code here is the DFW HR group, because guess what? If you went to one of those events, you'd meet the HR people from all the major companies here in Dallas. Imagine having them right there in one room. You just need to go to one of their events. Yeah. Yeah.
To your point, BJ, that's a great one.
Absolutely. So I want to go where these people are. And that way, when you start doing that, you'll start asking better questions and you'll know. Yeah. I appreciate that. Anyone else? You're very welcome. Yeah. Right there.
Okay.
Okay.
I think one of the thoughts basically coming from what you've been communicating is I think we have to give ourselves peace of mind when we don't land a particular job, because there may be a reason that we are not getting that, and it is designed to protect us. There may be a reason that may be the reason, because one of the trends, and get your thoughts on this, that I'm seeing is that there's high turnaround among executives at the C level, where they're coming in and kind of shaking up the company and then bringing in their own people and then breaking down the existing framework. We were seeing that at Verizon. And so, based on some of the trends that are happening at the executive level, there may be some instability at that company that may be, is more of maybe there's a reason why we're not landing that job.
Yeah. And there is. And when we look at this is what I would share with you now. Here's a couple of things to think about. These are the top 5 reasons based off statistics, mostly from recruiting firms, why people usually don't get the job. Here's the top 5. You ready? Number 1, this one's a good one, right? Number 1, there was somebody who was better than you. And you know what? That happens. That happens. Now, better is subjective, but it's the interviewer who's going to be the one who's going to come up with that. You may have still been better, but in their head, their mind, right? So sometimes it's just somebody was better. And you know what? That's okay. This one pisses people off, I have to say it. Number 2 is, you know what? What if they went to church? They haven't been out of job. They've been out of a job for a long time, and there were people praying for them. Because we ask people to pray for us to find the job. Well, that's also happening in other places and other churches too. And also, it's that sometimes God is saying, listen, I got something better for you. You think it's this job because it's Toyota, it's down the street, big pay, all this. You don't know what he's protecting you from, right? So you've got that. Number 3, you're going to fight implicit bias no matter what. right? And what I mean by implicit bias is we just are tribal people. We like people who are like us. So if I went to Texas and I was also in the Department of Behavioral Science, and someone comes in who also went to Texas, also was in the Behavioral Science division as well, I'm going to look at them more favorably than anybody else just because I feel like I know you already. Remember, part of this thing is we want to hire people who we think will be like us, who won't cause a problem, but will think like us. It's not right, but we'll do it. So sometimes it's just an implicit bias. It could also be that in that implicit bias, well, the last time we hired 5 women for the job, we had the same problem, so we're not going to do that again. Now that's not fair. But you got people who will think like that, but they would never say it. Or last time we had that, when we hired males over 50, this happened. And so now they've been told, mandated, don't do that. Right? So sometimes you're going to deal with that, the unfair stuff, right? Number 4 is we didn't interview well. We went in there scared as hell. We didn't sound confident. We used, well, I guess. Oh, I suppose so. We didn't pass the eye test. Did you know that the interview is not just about speaking? The interview is also about how did you present? Did you look like you were serious and ready to come in? Were you buttoned up? Were you ready to go? I've been doing this for several years coming here, and I see how everybody's dressed. I don't have to wear this. I could dress it down. But see, I want to win the job. I act like I'm trying to win a job when I show up. Because you'll say he didn't have to. He could have just put on a polo and some jeans, right? Y'all would have still listened to me. The information still would have been good, right? But notice what happens when I show up and I put the suit on and I get the pockets where I could have put on the tie, but I thought, you know what? I've done it, right? But how are you presenting on that job interview? It's not just what you say. You know how many people come through and go, well, I went to Harvard and I've studied at the mountaintop of education. I'm smarter than you probably. I mean, you get people who actually go in there and challenge the interview. I'm like, you serious? Why would they do that? Because they think they need to be impressive, right? They think they need to be memorable. So they try to do things like that, right? And then that fifth one is they just turned off the requirement because somebody else internally got hired from the inside. And so they just turned the requirement off and didn't respond back to people saying, well, we already found somebody. They just ghosted everybody because they just hired an internal candidate instead. Those are the top 5 reasons why people don't get the job. So how many of those things are you in control of? Only 2 of them. How you show up and how you present. When you show up and present, even if it's a job to drive a cart, a golf cart, still dress up. If you see that you're overdressed, you can always take the jacket off. You can always loosen up the tie or take the tie off. Right? But you can do that. But if you start with, no, I take this serious because I want to get paid seriously for what I do and I have a serious skill set, right? It shows another level of confidence before you even get there. Another question, please. Thank you.
More of a kind of observation, but in there, I have the good fortune, unfortunate thing of having a daughter who is you. She's a licensed clinical therapist, does very good, works with PTSD people, which going through a job loss could qualify for that. Sometimes I'm not sure if she's trying to analyze me or not. But she gave me a really good thing several months ago when I was hitting down the dumps. And it was that your thoughts are not facts. And she actually printed it out for me and stuck it on my wall in my office. So I would take a look at that. And then also she just shot out at me because I wanted to make sure I was saying it right. And it's your thoughts are not your reality. And you need to keep those in mind while you're going through this, because your thoughts can take you down some bad paths that aren't true, but you'll convince yourself that.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that you said that. And the emphasis on that again, you're not, and if you're taking home, there's a lot to take home today. But remember this, just psychologically, how we understand it is simply this. You are not what you think. You become what you rehearse. And listen to yourself this week. Listen to how many times you tell yourself the same old story over and over. Oh, I know Mother's Day is coming, but I need to get there at a certain time because my mom gets really upset if I'm not on time, and then she will be upset if I don't bring her car. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why are you doing that? Because you've observed the pattern, you've seen it. And so guess what you're going to do? You're going to keep playing that pattern again. When you rehearse the thing, that many times, guess what? You're going to act as if it's going to happen. And then you'll see that it'll follow suit. So it's not, hey, I want to go to the gym today. That's not what changes you. What's going to change is what you rehearse. You know what I don't like about going to the gym? Sometimes it's dirty and the people sweat and they don't always wipe it down. I don't want to. So that's why you don't go. You don't go because you've already rehearsed why you shouldn't go. And your brain doesn't know the difference between reality and just a thought. That's why you wake up in the middle of a nightmare thinking that it was real, because the brain can't tell what's real and what's imagined. Please.
Just to follow up on that comment,
Yes,
I
please.
wanted to say one quote that keeps me from despairing is from the book What Colors Your Parachute, Richard Bowles, who said,
Correct. Yeah.
the job system is a non-system, and as a result, you may not get the job for which you are the most qualified candidate. But on the other hand, in this job search, you may end up getting a job for which you are not very qualified and is your extreme dream job that pays a lot more than you ever expected,
Yeah.
and is much better and much more benefits and so forth. You got to bear that in mind. For every unfair loss, you make it a really great unfair gain.
Yeah. No, this is true. I love it. Let's go here, and then I'll see about landing the plane. Although we have some time, it's very fun. 11:20.
I'm sorry,
Go
just
ahead.
along that same lines, I went for some job interviews and I'm in HR, been doing it for a while.
Okay.
So I also interview the interviewer and the company, and I look at all those different signs. And there's been a lot of places I've gone to do an interview and got thinking to myself, ugh, I don't know about this. Just the reporting manager, that like the HR director, I knew 5 minutes into it that this was not going to be a good situation. A lot of things that I saw and heard and observed that I was glad, it just didn't work out. I did a temp job on a company that for their reputation in the community, I thought, oh, wow, I'm just so excited about it. But their turnaround was tremendous.
Mm.
There was internal conflict between managers I was trying to work with. I kept hearing, you're just the temp. You're just the temp. And just big red flags. I ended up ending that assignment early. I just couldn't handle it. So just because you apply for a job doesn't mean it's going to be the best one for you. And just always keep that in mind.
I love that. And that is true. And by the way, so I talk to a lot of companies. I try to help them with their onboarding because they just don't get people. Really, they just don't. And what's interesting is that, and this is said out front, and they don't even realize how negative this is, but the culture at that company is super important, because you can be wise, smart, experienced and everything, but if you hate going there every day and you have to be there 50 hours a week, that's going to cause trauma. That's going to cause little t trauma, right? That if that doesn't get looked at, can become big T trauma, where now you just don't even want to work because you're associating, I don't want to go to another corporate culture like that. And that keeps some people actually from not finding a job because they don't realize that they're traumatized by the last place that they were at. And what's happening is on the interview, if the interviewer is a good interviewer, they're supposed to read and pick up on that, right? Because their job is to whittle it down. If they're getting 1,500 resumes because of the internet and they don't even have to live here to send their resume for a job, right? Their job now is, well, I got to whittle this down because I got 1,500 resumes and there's no way I'm going to read all this. So they find a way with the tracking system to whittle it down. But then still the job cannot be right for you, because if their idea, and this is what happened, this hiring manager or this particular corporation told the person in an interview, he told me bragging, thinking it was really cool. But what he said in the interview to this lady is he said to her, he said, well, I like people who work their fingers to the bone. That's what I like. I think the people who think that they need rest, I think that's just some new age crap. The people we hire love being here. They work hard, and you can almost hear the Gipper speech happening right then and there in front of them, right? But what was he doing? He was basically already letting her know, my way or the highway. I said, and so she was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I should have taken that job or not. Are you kidding me? He just showed you who he is and what he was. That's the guy that watched the clock and see if you're here and if you're not, they will do, right? Because he's got something to prove and he's showing it in the interview process. So sometimes you don't want these jobs. If that's what you're seeing from the interviewer, and if that's the owner of the company talking like that, and he's coming in there kind of chest thumping and he's willing to show you that up front, you have to question, is God saving you by not letting you go there and go somewhere else? Because see, here's the thing. We have the numbers. We have the data on how jobs break people, and it's usually bad leadership. Recruiters will tell you, I don't know if the recruiter from Thomas Edwards is still on, but people don't quit the job because it was too difficult or the money wasn't right. They quit the job because they can't stand the boss and they didn't have any coworker friends to talk to about it. When those two things happen, they leave. And you know what the boss will say? You know how many resumes we got in here? We'll be able to replace them like nothing. And therefore, at some of these companies, it's churn, churn, churn. So it's a favor if you didn't get in there because they don't really know how to appreciate people. They think leadership skills that's that soft, new agey stuff. And you don't want to work there. That's true. Anyone else before I just land the plane and so we can go eat some pizza? All right. Anybody else? Oh, these two here. I forgot there was it Bob? Bill. Can you unmute yourself, Bill? Bill?
Yeah, just wanted to talk to the lady. I think her name was Lori. I put my information in the chat. I would love to help you out.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think. Okay.
Signed up.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Okay. What was the last question? And then we'll do.
Yes, I'll be quick, just in case everyone's hungry. PJ, just tremendous thank you. You're amazing. Your delivery specifically, the content and the delivery. I think I'm not the only one who found it incredibly insightful. What spoke to me that is thought-provoking is when you said that God doesn't create junk and listed a suggestion to find your and understand your strengths to potentially volunteer. It's thought-provoking for me because it's uncomfortable. I like to be challenged because I know it's beneficial. So I will take that to heart. Thank you.
Love it. So glad, Walt. And then I'll land the plane so we can go eat, okay?
In every presentation, PJ, I try to pick out something that says what hit me hard. What was the main thing? Number one, the first thing you said, what can we control? And stop trying to control things we can't control.
Yeah.
And do the things we can.
Yeah.
Love that part.
Oh, it's so good. So good. Well, let me put it like this. I want to see everybody in this room go, behave, think and feel the way they're supposed to. You're not supposed to be like anybody else. You're supposed to be you and the best version of you. Back in the day, they ran this commercial, be like Michael Jordan, right? You have to be like, no. That was some of the worst advertising from a psychology understanding. It's not. The thing I would encourage you with today is know when you're starting to spiral. Know when you're telling yourself bad stuff. When you're telling yourself bad stuff, to Walt's point, it's because you're trying to control the situation. Right? You're not happy with what's going on. So you think if you complain about it, spend time on it, somehow that will put you in control by talking about it. Doesn't work. I can tell you as a behavioral scientist, you don't want to do that. But here's the other side. And this is what I've been talking about for 17 years now. If there's no cap, if you're made by God, and if you're doing God honoring things with God given strengths, then let God help you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my time.
PJ, thank you very much. All right, next Friday, Clayton Stockdale will be with us to talk about accountability and accountability groups. If you're not in one, this will be, his presentation will talk about how to start one, what you should be doing during one, and how to act and who should be involved in them. So it's a great presentation. Join us next Friday at 9:30.
Friday, but we went to all the others after that. Is there a way I can get that presentation?
Yes, it'll be recorded, so you'll be able to watch the YouTube video on it. So on every video we have here goes on in, I record all the videos. It goes up to the Career USA YouTube channel. Every video gets posted into one of 7 different playlists. In the lower left-hand corner, you see it say view full playlist where that red arrow is. If you click on that, up will come a list of all the different topics we've had over the years. You can go back and watch any video you want. Just know that the speaker starts usually about 30 minutes into the video because I start it when I start the presentation at 9:30. Next Tuesday for LinkedIn Tuesday, Kurt Vondermatter will be with us to talk about LinkedIn from a recruiter's eye, how he tries to find you. So join us next Tuesday at 1 o'clock for that. Next Wednesday, the practice interview team will be meeting right here in person, 1 to 3 o'clock. Come watch interview. They've got 3 of them scheduled for next Wednesday. And then next Friday, Clayton will be with us to talk about accountability groups. And then on the 22nd coming up, dysfunctional thinking through the in transition journey. So Dr. Gray will be with us to talk about that. Today, we're going to go to Mama's Pizza. How many people think they may come so we know how big a table to get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 or 9 people would be great. Whoever gets there first, put together a few tables for us. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there and all the fathers. Don't forget about the mothers and don't forget about your mother. Be sure to reach out on Sunday. Thank you very much for joining us. PJ, once again, thank you very, very much. And we'll see everybody next week.